Hey, my name is Jobby, and we're looking at the Big Firebird Magic Henshin, a set of 5 transformable figures that combine into a bigger... Big Firebird should sound familiar. Nice. This one might get a little spicy, so you might want to consider hiding your browser history. Consider Surfshark VPN. Thanks for sponsoring. Surfshark is a virtual private network that's available for pretty much everything, and it allows you to browse the web through a secure and private connection. You can also get better deals online. I recommend checking out the article in the description to learn about price discrimination. And you can use Surfshark to switch locations to watch region-locked content on Netflix, or use HBO Max outside of the US. So instead of getting a whole nother streaming service, use the one that you already have. Check out the link in the description and use my promo code JOBBY to get 83% off and 4 extra months free. Or if you don't mind the government knowing that you watch a grown man playing with toys for little girls, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. All of these figures have a port that can take any standard figure stand, not included. I'm using a Good Smile Company Simple Stand. However, a Bandai Tamashii Nation Zack 5 stand would also work. Number 1. The painting and sculpting on Scarlet Sonic is awesome. She's got an appealing design full of personality, but she is worryingly human. Why though? From what I can tell, the Magic Henshin line is Big Firebird's take on the magical girl genre. Usually involves a team who turn into magical superheroes. But instead of gaining frilly outfits or psychological trauma, these girls transform into transforming robots. Henshin means transform if my Nipponese is correct. There's a bunch of weirdly high quality promotional artwork. Is it some kind of pitch for a show? A comic? An arrest warrant? Weird concept, but the execution is strong, at least visually. Out of the box, her beautiful spread was loose, so I had to get in there and pump my fluid. Kikis or Dr. D-Stars are good options. Or if you're really stupid, super glue. And you can see me performing that process on my second channel, Jobby2. Links in the description if you want to see how the sausage gets made. For a figure that doesn't have real feet, she's surprisingly articulated. Not a masterpiece style figure by any means, but there's enough articulation here to get her into some fun poses. Above average posability, which can be complemented by a variety of accessories. In addition to her somewhat bland smile, you get a cheeky grin, and you get a blank face. The horror, don't get me twisted, is justified. At first, I thought these were run-of-the-mill stickers, but they don't seem to peel off. So I'm assuming they're water slide decals, and who cares? I'm not gonna use them, and why would I? It's literally just a copy of her eyes. No difference. And you get another sheet which is stuck to the backing. Epic. You also get alternate hands, but be careful when handling these. The ball joints are super tiny and thin, like my pee-pee. I only got 4 jokes, get used to it. Grabby hands, which allows her to hold this gas nozzle, and a pair of fists, which lets her hold these sabers. They look like her little ears because they are. So technically, she's supposed to look like this when she's wielding her weapons. Bald. I don't like it. Logic be damned, the ears stay on during slicing. Number 2, finna make me act up. Thunderlight is number 2 for a reason. Poo-poo. That's a little harsh, but she is my least favorite of the set. She just looks disproportionate. I'm one to talk. First off, she's got these ugly, perfect transformation hands. You can, and should, switch them out for these hands that actually look like hands. Significant improvement, but her arms are still too short. Also, her hair isn't as convincing as Scarlet Sonic's bike seat ponytail. These pigtails look more like head tits. And that's because they are. We'll get into that later. At least their face sculpt is pretty dang good. Again, you can replace her face, looks great. And another blank face, only this time the decals aren't completely useless. It's cool that you get the option for customization, but who cares? Speaking of customization, you might want to paint this lump on her nose. It's supposed to be an anime tough guy bandage, but it's unpainted, as is her whole chest. What? On a totally unrelated note, sure, the painting and sculpting is awesome and the plastic quality does not feel cheap, but goddamn! Toys are getting expensive, aren't they? Makes you want to cut your losses and get the hell out of this hobby. But who am I kidding? I'm too much of a man baby to give up on toys. I'll also never feel the touch of a real woman ever again. Links in the description, by the way. This stubby short stack's got some disappointingly limited articulation. You don't even get a waist swivel. Her chesticles make up for that though. And ankles. What ankles? Hidden joint at the shoulder was a bit floppy. And again, I tightened it up with some white stuff. You can still get some decent poses out of her if you have her on a stand. You can make up for the lack of articulation with these lightning effect parts. But they don't quite quite adhere to the hand as much as I would like. You could just flick them off. But man, they do a hell of a job at giving her punches impact. And you get a few extra parts for the transformation. We'll get into that later. Put some fucking pants on. Number 3 and 4. Take a seat over there. Gemini wings are my favorite figures of the set. They don't have individual names as far as I know, so I'll just call them pink and blue. Despite being virtually identical figures, the character design is so strong that you can tell their personalities at a glance. Of course, my poses help, as do their excellent face sculpts, which can get even more expressive. Just too bad that pink's got a scuff on her tongue. How'd that get there? Anything I say can be used in a court of law. Again, some blank faces, some decals, and you'll definitely want to plug them into a stand. Their gigantic ponytails, more like horsetails, weigh them down significantly. They could stand up on their own, but only if you use the hair as a third leg. Which this literally is. It's even got a foot at the end. I wonder why. Display them on the stand and you can take full advantage of their excellent posability. The best of the set. However, the chest, or lack thereof, would get dragged down by the weight of the hair. So again, some joint stuff does the trick. The shoulder joint seems to be attached to the neck, which could get annoying. Impressive articulation. They're essentially Figma figures, and surprisingly solid for such small joints. Be careful with the hands though. They're a softer plastic than everything else. You get a pair of heart-making hands, and that looks great with this sound system, microphone included. Rocking that Japanese idol aesthetic. And you get a pair of hearts which don't seem to plug into anything, but the girls can cradle them. M and H for Magic Henshin, or H and M for help me. Number G1. Can you shut up about Transformers? Scarlet Dragon. On the packaging, this section is flipped up, but I suggest you fold that down. Now it's a satisfying little box. And that's it. The turret can't move, the treads don't work, and worst of all, nothing snaps in. As long as you don't move anything out of position, it's a fun little chibi tank. Reminds me of the Metal Slug, just with a longer barrel and a pair of tits. I'm not too big on how small these girls are, but I guess they make for some very pricey desktoppers if you have the space, which I don't because I've lost control of my life. Here's Figma-matic Economy, SH Monster Arts Godzilla, Transform Element OP Leader, my previous video, Eris Coulter. Oh wait, no, my previous video was a fail box, which most of you didn't watch, thanks a lot. And of course, my previous Big Firebird review, Nicee. It's clear to me that Big Firebird has a passion for transforming robots. Just wish they had passion for the actual transformation. Parts forming. Fuck off. And here's Scarlet Sonic's Bite Mode. It's pretty good, if somewhat disturbing. But I don't like that the arms don't plug in anywhere. Come on. This ain't the most solid mode. I'd also complain about the lack of a kickstand, but her thick tires allows her to stand up on her own. They can't spin freely though, that's no fun. But what is fun is that you can get another figure to ride her. Let's move on before I get swatted. This isn't in the instructions, but plug in this included steering wheel to flesh it out. She desperately needs it, because Thunderlight's vehicle mode doesn't look great without it. Or in general. This vague sci-fi go-kart with an ass is just kinda lame. And you can put another ass on that ass, and that's just ass. Also, the face covering doesn't like to connect, giving you a movie Megatron situation. I smell you! That's another potential use for the blank face. You could plug it in and not be distracted by her eyes while you roast her. I don't hate this mode, but it's yet another reason why she's my least favorite of the set. And don't look too deep into the exhaust. The sound system becomes the cockpit, and again, it's not in the instructions. You could also plug in the mic, but that just looks like they put a microphone in the rest. The Gemini Wings bomber mode is fantastic. The cutest, most brightly colored weapon of war I've ever seen. This is the future liberals want. Not only does this look great, the transformation process was fun and super satisfying. But admittedly, I have a bias for symmetrical docking. Leave a like if you get that. Sorry. There's still the issue of some parts not quite connecting. The front just needs some more tabs. And the little lady legs don't plug in at all, so position them however the hell you want. At least this mode actually looks like something, as opposed to nothing. If you could afford only one Magic Henshin girl, this would be the one to get. 2 girls, 1 mode, but you know what I mean. This mode solidifies the twins as my favorite of the set. Can't say the same about... And here we have Scarlet Dragon's dragon mode? That's a stretch. The actual head sculpt is pretty good, should have had an opening jaw, and these sharp little nubs are supposed to be his arms. Pathetic. While this is undeniably a fake mode, it still has its charm. It also has the excuse of being a glorified accessory pack. I don't hate it. I don't hate any of these figures, though I still wish they were bigger. Here's Madoka Godzilla Prime, Ares Coulter, and Big Firebird's superior alternate mode. Loose joints, parts forming, questionably horny designs. What other war crimes can Big Firebird commit? A combination that sucks. Thank God November's over.